Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. This for my
And welcome everybody to another live edition of First and Goal with me, your host, Jay in the UP, and our new co-host, Dave at Steak and Cheese. Hi, Dave.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Now, there's a lot of stuff to get to right away, so we're going to get to it right off the bat so we can, update everybody with our
news updates.
And let's get right to it. Go ahead, Dave.
Well, we just had a quote that we put out a couple days ago about some unsexy draft picks. And we ended up getting 55 votes, which was really appreciated, being we only had 63 followers. Thank you for the 3 followers in the last episode. But still, man, there was a lot of activity, and it was a lot more tied up than I thought.
Yeah, and I don't really have a whole lot going on other than, the Packers are at OTAs and life's good and people still won't leave this Aaron Rodgers story going. But there is a rumor that's out there that you just brought up to me before, something about a former All-Pro safety. Who is it?
Yeah, supposedly there was a Eric Berry sighting in Green Bay, and maybe he met up. It wasn't on social media a lot, so maybe some of those players joke. Maybe it's being played down low, and Gutekunst might pull one from the whole league.
Yeah, well, what do you feel about that? Eric Berry, I wouldn't mind adding Eric Berry to the roster. I mean, even though
God, no, it'd be a complete upgrade from last year. We had Ha and we had Bryce last year to start. If we signed Berry, yes, he has injury problems, but maybe he just needs a new place scenery. Sometimes people get injured. They just kind of have that, like, oh, I can't get out of this rut effect. He used to be a stud, but the guy came back from cancer. To me, that's motivation.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I just look at guys like that, like, I look at the Charles Woodson situation, like prime example, an aging guy that was, I think he's way better. I'm not going to put Eric Berry in his same class because Charles Woodson is definitely a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? But there, he was injured in Green Bay. They let him go. When he was actually healthy, they cut him, took a cap hit, which they usually don't do, and then he goes and plays 2 or 3 years and is completely healthy, never gets injured again. So I mean, like you said, sometimes for that team and that player, that guy can't stay healthy, goes to a new team, and I don't know if it's just a change in the water or what, but they just, they stay healthy.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, there's healthier water up in Wisconsin. You get that Arctic ice coming in.
Well, yeah, and maybe, the milk is actually from happy cows, not full of steroids.
I'm
just saying.
Well, I still think Eric Berry would do really well with us, especially with Amos. Amos, it would kind of give that Eddie Jackson relative to him because Berry is that rangy safety to kind of that coverage, so they would mesh well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. You got any other little news tidbits that we might have missed?
Yeah, so sadly the passing of possibly the best Packer guy ever, Boris Gregg. It was a sad day when he passed a couple days ago, and
I believe he was 85 years old, right?
Coach, but all-time Packer.
And a guy that was described by Vince Lombardi as the greatest player that he ever coached.
Yeah, like his maximum play on the field was amazing, and off the field he was just as good. And then he was like a coach underneath Lombardi as well, even besides Starr and Horning.
Yeah. All right. Now, since you brought it up, I have a little bit of a hot take issue with, because
Well, here we go. Hit the sirens.
This conversation now brought up a point that he's the best offensive lineman and the best player ever, and I'm not so sure I agree with that. I think that I could make an argument for the best offensive lineman to ever put on a Green Bay jersey could be one of four guys that are actually from the current era that most even young Packer fans would know. I believe that you could tell me that Chad Clifton, Mark Tauscher, David Bakhtiari, and Brian Bulaga would be better all-around linemen than Forrest Gregg. And I know that's a
You
hot...
got to look at it, too. That's a running game back then. Like, they didn't do a lot of passing like that.
That's
so
my point.
The Packers have to have that, so you're right.
Right, and you're talking about bigger, faster, stronger guys that are coming off the defensive side of the ball, schemes and blitzing.
Can you imagine Bakhtiari blocking for Starr and Horning?
Well, I'm just saying. Now, what Bakhtiari trumps Forrest Gregg in pass protection. No, don't get me wrong. Forrest Gregg trumps Bakhtiari all day, every day, and 8th day of the week in the run game. You see what I'm saying? But my point is, I know we hate to compare these eras, but I think we're going a little far, and we're not giving the respect to Chad Clifton and Mark Tauscher, who were bookend tackles for 10 years and don't get appreciated in Green Bay for the job that they did for two Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Also, the fact, too, Clifton was there for Amon Green's tenure, and he put up a lot of yards behind Clifton.
1,800 yards, back-to-back years, I believe. 10-plus touchdowns in those years, averaging over 4.2 yards per carry. Yeah, I mean, so, again, I know it's a little hot takey, and people might want to get mad at me.
Respect.
But and it's not to be disrespectful. It's just the truth in my humble opinion. It's just the truth.
Oh, I agree. The Clifton and Tauscher are some of the top offensive linemen we've ever had. But Gregg, you look at, I mean, it's also the product of being around the talent he had. I mean, he got to play next to Kramer for how many years?
Well, yeah, and I guess here's the other thing too is and people will say, well, they had to do all that pass blocking and they weren't allowed to use their hands like they are now. But on the other level, do you realize how much harder that makes an offensive lineman you have to learn how to use your hands properly. It's like because you give a guy his ability to use his hands doesn't mean he's going to know how to use them properly. And that really complicates. You're mixing football with Roman Greco wrestling and Muay Thai and a lot of other sports. You know what I mean?
Like Sitton was doing. They were doing MMA training in the off season when they were with the Packers the last couple of years to work on their hands.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, boxing, Greco wrestling. That's all a part of this hand fighting between offensive and defensive linemen. And I know people.
Gregg would have gotten so many penalties too today if he played.
Right, and again, I don't want to be sounding disrespectful.
Oh, he's still a stud. We can't take it away from him. He's got how many rings and championships?
Right. I just wanted to, I guess, more or less, and I know you can't do one without the other, but I more or less wanted to try to shed a light on the two former tackles we have and the two current tackles that, I mean, outside of Green Bay, Bakhtiari is a two-time pro. He's a two-time All-Pro. First time, he was a second team.
I don't know how you're an All-Pro but not a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, but he's never made the Pro Bowl, and Mark Tauscher never made a Pro Bowl either.
Well, that's the thing. The Packers' offensive linemen were overshadowed by the Amon Green, the Brett Favres. I mean, that's the thing. Like, they were overshadowed by it.
The Reggie Whites, the Charles Woodsons, and yeah.
Yep.
So I guess I just wanted to try to use the.
Oh no, I completely see your opinion.
Yeah, so that's all there. And then I mean, And again, we were gonna have Dusty on. Dusty is like all of us living the dad life. He is
Hashtag dad life.
yeah, he's having issues with his child getting to bed like we all seem to have most nights.
I had to cancel a couple nights ago, if I recall, because my kid was throwing a
And
hailstorm.
I've had to reschedule myself too, so we've all had that experience before.
We respect you, Dusty. Go do your thing.
I think he's trying to message me too here, and I can't seem to be able to check it on my phone here that I'm talking to you on. This is what being live is. You tell the guy, hey, message or text me, and he does, and then you can't check it to see what he even damn said. So.
Well, he's probably messaging, oh God, you guys are annoying, I changed my mind.
Yes, yeah, that could be very well, and those messages we wouldn't want to look at anyway.
Oh, of course not.
Okay, well, we are going to take just a quick break here and see if we can get a hold of Dusty here and come back, because we have some interesting topics to talk to him about. So we're gonna play a little bit of music for you, and we'll be right back here in just a short minute.
Chicago Really. Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. Get money, yeah. This for my old school Chevy Cutlass Regal, Monte Carlo riders. Turn the bass knob up, let the W7 slam the trunk off. Brain hustler, bump J. I can't stand to see my son cry, I'm keeping him fed. See him up before the sunrise and I sleep when I'm dead. My baby mama cousin coming in from out of town. He want a couple bricks and 100 grams of brown. What's wrong with this fool? You ain't my family clown. My baby mama riding with me, we laying his ass down. It's best to go back to where you came from. Tell your auntie if she love him, come and get your cousin before I change him. I got a business line, summer, fall, or winter time. I'm racing for the money and I think I see the finish line. I feed my goons, but a bitch won't get a cent of mine. Chickens on the table and tell my niggas it's dinner time. The way a nigga grind, I can't help but to win. You youngins wanna get money, better fuck with him. Every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm hustling. Getting money round here, man. We getting money round here, yeah. Getting money round here, man. We getting money round here, yeah. Getting money round here, man. We getting money round here, yeah. We be getting money round here, yeah.
Yeah, this brain hustle, I'm Eastside crazy. Get it how I live how I get it. That's how the rich get rich and the poor say poor.
You say I can't make this paper, you gotta be nuts. And fuck with these haters saying I'm getting my dust. 24-inch Pirellis when I'm spinning through the cuts. In the cranberry Chevy with some Remy in my cup. When it come to making money, if I see a chance, I take it. Cause the old man told me life is only what you make it. That's why I hustle hard, why these fakers keep it faking. Cause before my shorty starve, I'll leave a nigga naked. I got weed by the grams and my shorty pedal slow. Best believe I got a plan for whenever it gets slow. I come kicking in your dough, and I guarantee you fold. When you wake up and you're staring down the barrel of a pole. Yeah, big stacks, I double them. Backwoods, I'm puffing them. I whip the butter till it's the same color as construction team. Every day I'm hustling, and every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling, and every day I'm hustling. Getting money round here.
Folks, and we are back, and we are joined with Dusty Evely, or you guys also know him from his other account, Dusty All 22, the film breakdown guru. Thanks for joining the show today, Dusty.
Yeah, you bet, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, so right
Just
away,
overjoyed.
it's all overjoyed, the dad life. So Dusty, right away we want to get into it. We're about 10 minutes into 15 minutes in the show. We want to get into a little bit of now. We were gonna ask you a lot about